bring something up that the Lord has laid upon my heart. You won't find it, the footprints. It talks about one night a man or woman, whichever you prefer, one night a person had a dream. And it goes on to say that they seen two sets of footprints all over the place when everything was really good, when everything was going exactly as it needed to. They were happy and content. They could see their footprints, and they could see the Lord's footprints as well. Time went on through this dream. Things started happening. This represents the life that we're living, because sometimes we see it's like God is right there. We know this beyond a doubt. We can see this. We can feel this. We have no worries. Why? Because we know that God's right there. And it shows everywhere in our life. But this person continued to dream as God allowed the dream to go on. Things started getting a little rough. He looked back over all of his life, and he noticed that during the best parts of his life, when it seemed like everything was exactly as it needed to be, he said, Lord, I noticed then that you were with me, just like you said you would be. But he said, Lord, you know, the person started complaining a little bit in this dream, and don't we do the same thing in our lives? Things start to get a little rough. First thing you know, we want to start blaming the Lord, asking the Lord, inquiring the Lord. Lord, you said that once I started following you, this man said in his dream, he said, you told me, God, that once I started following you, you would go with me all the way. You said you would not leave me. You said you would not forsake me, but you told me. Lord, you assured me that you go with me all the way, even to the end of the world. But Lord, man, person said, but Lord, I've noticed now, when everything was good, you kept your word and you was right there. But it seemed like when I needed you the most, it seemed like you just up and left me and I was all by myself. Lord, how could you do that to me? But thank God, brother, for the words. When God heard that prayer and he looked at this person and he said, my precious, precious child, I love you and would never leave you. And I want you to know, church, that the same God that said that in that dream, he's the same God, and he's saying the same thing to you. He says he wants you to know that you are his precious, precious child. He loves you more than you'll ever even comprehend the love that he loves you with. As much as you love your children and would most likely willingly, without thinking about it, give your life for your child. How much more would God do that for you? He's already done it, church. Even though we hated him without a cause and turned our backs to him and beat him and spit in his face, he still said, I love you, my precious, precious child, and I would never leave you. Why, during the times you had the hardest things going on in your life, you thought for a moment or for a long period of time that I had left you, but it was then you need to know that I picked you up and I was carrying you. It wasn't even your footprints that you see. You just thought it was, but it was the precious footprint of God, a footprints of the Lord that picked you and me up, church. How many times have you felt so alone and that like nobody cares? And I know I've felt that way. I don't know how many times in my life, and we might have some time we go through sickness or we see our loved ones up on their bed of affliction. Maybe nobody rings the telephone. Maybe nobody calls to see how things are going. But church, let me reassure you of this. You are not by the bedside alone. God is right there every step of the way, and when it gets to where the old devil has got so much on you that you just can't seem to escape it, brother, understand this, and sister, know this beyond the shadow of a doubt. That's the time that God's going to look down, and he's going to come down, and he's going to pick you and me up, and he's going to carry us. And brother, we're going to get through it each and every step of the way. Yea, though we have to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I say it again and again, we will fear no evil, for thou art with me. His rod His rod and his staff, they comfort me, even before all of mine and your enemies. O we servant of God, that brother anoints our head full of oil, and our head and our cup runneth over. And he even prepares a table for you and I to eat from, even right there in the face of the enemies. And brother, I thank God to know that even though I felt all by myself, sometimes, brother, more than once, God has looked down from heaven and showed mercy unto me. And he's done the same for you and I as well as he has me. Brother, take this into consideration, church. The preacher man cannot come in here each and every Sunday and Sunday evening and each and every Wednesday evening and know exactly what he's going to preach. It's impossible. But brother, let me tell you this. There's many times the preacher gets up and he don't have two words to say. But nevertheless, I'm a man, thank God, that I don't depend on what I'm going to say from the beginning. I'm dependent upon God to look into each and every heart and deliver to me the message that we need. And church, from the pastor, from the pulpit, all the way back to the back row, each and every one of you need to be lifted up. We all need to be exhorted from time to time because of simply of this. I don't care if you walk with the Lord all of your natural born life. If God allows you to live to see 120, a brother like he did Moses, I want you to know you'll still need lifting up. You'll still need encouraging because no matter how strong a person is in the faith of God, there's going to be a time when it will enter their mind, Lord, I don't know if I can do it. I've done it for a long time, God, and you've kept me all the way until this point in time. But Lord, I'm getting older in myself. My steps are getting slower. I don't know, Lord, that I can continue. But church, when that time comes upon you, understand this right here, right now. That's going to be the very time when God's going to look down, brother, and he's going to remind you of his being his, a precious child, and how much that he loves you. And brother, I want to encourage you, and sister, I want to encourage you. When the going gets tough, you be tough and you stand up and get going. Don't you run from the devil. Don't you turn away from him. Don't let the old devil lie to you and make you believe it. Don't allow the devil to make you put you on the run. Brother, God has given you the power over the old serpent to where you will crush his head. The only thing he can do is bruise your heel. If he's allowed to do anything else in your life, it's because you are allowing him to do it. But I thank God to know, church, when I get down and it seems like, Lord, I'm all by myself. I have to do this and I need to do that. But Lord, I need help. And church, I'm not complaining and I'm not crying the blues. I'm just stating what we all go through from time to time. Because us being in the flesh and blood, we're not above going through it. But I thank God to know, church, no matter what I go through, I've got one that'll carry me if I have to be carried. When I stumble and I fall, brother, my God don't say, hey, stupid, get up. He reaches down and says, get up, my son. You've got to go on just a little farther. And brother, only thing that does is may give me strength in my God. And that gives me the freedom to know and the courage to keep on going. Brother, I put on that old helmet of salvation. I shine up my feet with the preparation of the gospel. I get the old breastplate of righteousness out, and I throw that on as well. And brother, I get the old sword, which is the word of God. And brother, it don't matter which direction the old devil tries to cast me down, I can overcome it. Because I'll tell you this right now, through and by Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, you can overcome anything. Upon this rock, I said this morning, God the Lord said, I will build my church, and though the gates of hell may come against it, they will not prevail. Although they may rise up and try, they will not prevail. Brother, I thank God that I'm not divided. I thank God I am situated in my heart. It's not all divided up. I Well, it's not like on a daily basis. I don't know which way to go. I know exactly which way to go. I don't worry about what's going on behind me. My eyes are set and focused upon the great day of the coming of the mighty God. But I thank God to know that, church, when I have to go through persecution out down here in this old world, I am thankful that I have to do it in this world instead of the world to come, because this old world that I'm going to leave, by the grace of God, one day is going to melt with fervent heat and everything in it. I was watching the old History Channel the other day, and they had the nerve, they had the gall to run a movie that stated 200 years after man. Brother, let me tell you something. They were trying to get people to believe that once man is off the face of the earth and is not inhabited anymore, things are going to stand for so longer time. And after 200 some years, it's going to start to rot and decay. Brother, let me tell you one thing. When the people of God, and that includes you and I, brother, are caught up into the sky, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. The ones that are left here, they're going to hear, let loose my wrath. And brother, let me tell you what, there ain't enough military in the world coming together all over the world to stop the wrath of God. But I don't focus on that. I don't have to worry about it anymore because I've already died once. And brother, I'll never have to die again. This old body has to be laid off, but I thank God to know when I go all the way back into the beginning of the chapter of Genesis, when the sixth day God created man, brother, his body laid there, even though it was in the form of God and in the image of God and in the likeness of God, before God actually got up and breathed that breath of life into his nostrils, it was exactly as it is, like we see him today in the coffin. And brother, when God takes that breath of life back out of me, I'm going to be there again, just like I was before it went into me. But I don't worry about it, church, because I'm pressing on towards that mark. The Lord God is coming again, and I want you to be prepared to be ready. When the old devil comes your way, and you need to know this now, he will indeed come your way. He'll be coming and going, up and down, to and fro, back and forth, until the day God takes you out of this world, or until the day God comes back and calls each and every